Creator Clash 2 lost $250,000. Hey guys, how's life and welcome back to the channel. Now in the last 24 hours there's been a lot of talk online. IDubbbz has come out and made a video and admitted that Creator Clash 2, the influencer boxing event, lost $250,000.
We lost $250,000 on the event.
Meaning that the charity that they were trying to raise money for basically got nothing. Now if we think about the history of influencer boxing, starting off with Theo Baker going up against Joe Weller.
Making his way to the ring is Theo Baker, aka Malfoy, the man who is a #United superstar. He showed what he can do on a football pitch. Can he replicate that sporting success?
In really a local gym, just for a bit of fun, just for a YouTube video, no training at all. And you think how far influencer boxing has come since then. KSI jokingly calling out Joe Weller, ended up being the biggest white collar boxing event in the UK. Even with their head guards, there was so much hype going into that fight, and KSI in the end just absolutely battered Joe Weller.
And here we go. This surely is the end of the fight. JJ has got so much power. It's waved off. Oh, that is not. The sidemen rush.
I think Joe got a bit of stage fright there, to be honest with you. Then from there, we had KSI calling out the pulls. Any of the pulls, he didn't care.
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of the pulls, I don't care. Bring it.
The first fight happening at Manchester Arena, which I still think to this day is one of the best core influencer boxing cards, purely because it was absolutely stacked from the start to the finish. Everyone who was anyone wanted to be on that card, including obviously Jake Paul and Deji on the same card. They then went professional with Eddie Hearn getting involved and then fighting in LA.
Hearn, he fucking this and he's done that and he's done that and he's done that. And
Logan has been from someone who hadn't put the boxing gloves on before to a professional fighter.
From the United Kingdom, the Nightmare,
Still to say, I think it's the biggest hype before a match. They probably sold up the most pay-per-views. Eddie Hearn absolutely rubbing his hands together at some of the money coming in. At that time, influencer boxing was really limited to sort of the big names in YouTube. It needed the big names to bring the eyeballs, to bring the fans. After that, there's been lots and lots of different events that have gone on in the scene. I'm thinking about Kingpyn. Big names on that card. You got Austin McBroom, Bryce Hall.
I'm gonna knock out Austin because I'm an actual fighter.
I'm not a boxer. I'm not a fighter. I've never claimed to be a fighter.
I'm gonna knock out Austin because I'm an actual fighter.
It was massive at the time, and Nissan Gibb, but a lot of the fighters on that card did not get paid. At that time, the controversy was massive. Questions were asked about the arrangers, who was funding the event. Did they really sell that many pay-per-views? Were people even interested? Luckily, the guys from the UK, Deji and Gibb, who fought on that card, got paid in the end. But I think a lot of the American influencers didn't, just because of the contracts in place. Say what you want about Jake Paul, but the way him and his company have done it, in fairness, seems to be the fairest way. People sort of slate him because he's calling out these MMA fighters. But these are proper bad men. People, world champions he's fought.
Bring your ass on up here. Come on, Jake.
How the fight finished off.
Come on home, Jake.
All the events go on without a hitch. And in terms of YouTubers fighting, I mean, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, it doesn't really get bigger than that. And Jake Paul held his own in there. He even dropped Tommy at one point. I think that called into question Tommy Fury's ability. And KSI wants a bit of that. Tommy Fury is ducking him. And what does that say about him, to be honest with you? The money involved is ridiculous. Now on to Creator Clash. Their first event in May 22 was a relative success. IDubbbz versus Dr. Mike. It was always going to be some of the lesser known YouTubers that were on these type of cards. But there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with small creators wanting to put on an event, especially if there's enough of the small creators. And in that way, they're sort of collaborating and sharing each other's fans, which is fantastic. I think the problem is when you've got small creators coming onto an event which isn't run very well, I think that can really detriment people's careers. Boxing's a dangerous game. People die in the ring. And for amateurs to get in there, yes, they're being brave, but if they're not getting paid and they're getting ripped off, you've got to ask the question whether it's worth it for them. I remember Simple Simon getting in the boxing ring with Ed Matthews, and you're like, mate, you're in your 50s. What kind of money are they offering you to get in here?
Simon is making the big mistake. When you're caught and you're hurt, you take a step back, you regroup.
He's not blocking one punch.
No.
Oh, there he goes.
But if you are a small creator getting propositioned, you've got to weigh the pros and cons. And obviously the money was right, which is why Simple Simon got in the ring. Now on to Creator Clash 2. Alex Wassabi versus IDubbbz. I'm not meaning to be disrespectful to anyone on the undercard. I personally didn't recognize any of the names. There's nothing wrong with that, like I say. Great opportunity to see new creators and sort of invest in the personalities there. But there was just no promotion. No one really knew what was happening with this. Alex Wassabi was supposed to be fighting KSI at one point. He pulled out. I think people lost a lot of respect for him at that point. And the event sort of happened without anyone really saying anything online. And that's incredibly concerning. If you're going to try and put on an event with sort of these smaller creators, you've got to make sure the event is run right. You've got to make sure that the funding is there. You've got to promote it. You should be doing everything in your power to basically shove your event down everyone's throat so everyone knows when it is. Everyone's prepared to pay the fee or prepared to watch on the stream. And when an event like this comes along, and you sort of forget about it instantly, nothing notable really happens on it, you've got to worry for their bottom line. And yes, yesterday in this video, IDubbbz admitting that the event lost $250,000.
We lost $250,000 on the event.
And to be honest, I don't think that's too surprising to anyone. You've got to think about everyone getting paid individually, all of these creators. You've got to think about them hiring the venue. You've got to think about all the costs that go behind putting an event like this on. And then what you've got to look on the other side is, where is the money coming in? No one's really buying the pay-per-view. No one's really interested. No one's talking about it online. There's not really any sponsorships. It's playing a dangerous game, especially an event that obviously they wanted to raise money for charity, which is nice that their heart was in the right place. But if it's met with incompetence, at the end of the day, the charity's not getting anything, is there? So I think it's sort of a warning for your creators out there. If you haven't got one of the big boys fighting, and by big boys I mean KSI, Logan Paul, Jake Paul.
Pretty good at the trash talk, I gotta hand it to you. Yeah. So, you're a pussy. What just happened? There he is, right there.
Hey, what's up, bro? Okay, man. Wait till Saturday, bro. You're a pussy. Wait till Saturday.
That if you're putting on an event, you need to promote it. I think the Kingpyn tournament is being run well, to be fair. I think they've learned from their mistakes of the past. I certainly watched that first event. Austin Improvement and Nissan give rematch. Obviously, that fight specifically was a bit of a letdown, but I'd say the card as a whole was a big success. So yeah, guys, just let me know your thoughts on this. Once KSI and Jake Paul retire, do you think that the boxing scene will die, or do you think there'll be new personalities that sort of grow and come from this? I hope so. I really enjoy the boxing. When the event is put on right, and there's the correct investment and there's the correct personalities, I personally love it. I mean, the KSI Weller, the KSI Logan. I remember the hype in that sort of 18-month period where that was all going on. That was the prime of YouTube, in my opinion.
Everyone's gonna go home.
Yes, guys, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. That really does help me out. Leave a comment if you've enjoyed, and I'll see you later.